10 degrees down at Cedar Point.
Change has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Climate change has got to go.
Hey, hey. How about ho, ho. Climate change has got to go.
5 points and then over Meridian.
Climate change has got to go. Hey, hey.
Two people.
Hello. Hey.
For ourselves. Why are we here? We are here to demand the government to take emergency action on the climate crisis and ecological crisis, to tell the truth to the public.
Alright, so my name's Kieran Thompson. I'm also a local Barrie teenager here. I go to Barrie North.
I am Maya. I'm from Angus. I'm here with a few friends as well. We're going to do our speech and tell you why we're here. So, we've known about climate change for decades, and for decades we've ignored the signs and done nothing.
In 11 years, we'll no longer be able to reverse the effects and catastrophes we've caused. Our futures will look a lot different than we want them to.
The shores of our countries will flood due to the rapidly melting ice caps.
wearing face masks will become a necessity because the CO2 levels are far too high. The thing is, some of the effects are happening all around the world today already. We're striking because we don't want this future to be the reality for anyone. Not for you, not for your children, and not for your grandchildren.
We are angry, so we demand that our government takes action and protects not only the earth, but their people. This is not just a climate issue, this is a system issue.
We demand the rights of Indigenous peoples, so to adopt and implement the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples in full.
We demand protection of the most affected groups, recognize Canada's disproportionate role in the climate crisis, and our subsequent responsibility to protect the most vulnerable, include the addition of climate displacement as a basis of refugee status. Provide climate aid to lower and middle-income countries as well as the Arctic Canada, which inordinately experiences the immediate impacts of global warming.
We demand a just transition to renewable energy and sustainable transportation infrastructure, while guaranteeing the opportunity for fossil fuel workers in the new economy.
We demand conservation of biodiversity, maintain and protect old-growth forests, restore cut blocks, reduce habits, fragmentation, and strengthen the protection of at-risk species.
We demand the separation of oil and state. Reject all new fossil fuel extraction or transportation projects. Eliminate fossil fuel subsidies and price pollution. And finally, we demand bold greenhouse gas emissions reductions targets. Legislate net greenhouse gas emission reductions of 75% over 2005 levels by 2030.
Our planet is dying.
Why will no one listen to us?
This isn't enough. I should be living like a teenager, just like you did, not fighting to protect my life.
You who continue to deny what is happening, you who don't care, are the ones who are stealing our futures, but I will fight for you all the same.
It is time we all paid attention to the disaster that we are all facing.
The scientists won't quiet down about it, and neither will you.
Please, we beg you to take action.
Before it's too late! Thank you.
Now, we have some information for what you guys can do.
Good day, good day. My name is Brent Elsey. I'm a family doctor, a father, and a grandfather. So before I start, I'd like to find out what my audience looks like. So is there anyone here from an elementary school? Sorry, I'm an old man. I can't hear you. Is anyone here from an elementary school? Better. Is there anyone who's really cool and from high school? You may not want to yell. Is there anyone out there who's from a college or university or postgraduate? All right. And are there any lifelong learners out there? All right, thank you. Okay. So I'd first like to thank the organizers of this to have the privilege as an old guy to speak. And when I first got the offer, I thought, well, I would come down here and I would apologize. I would say sorry, because for many of these kids, it's like going back to their home when they've been away and they come in and the place is a mess. There's plastic bottles all over the place. The dishes in the sink are filled up. Something's in the toilet you don't want to even know. There's dirt everywhere. And they look at their parents and their parents go, hey, we're going out. You take care of it. That ain't going to happen because these kids are not going to take it. And so I was going to come down here and apologize for my generation. And then I realized that there's a young lady from Sweden, Greta, who would say to me, sorry is not enough. She would say, we need actions. We don't need more words. So today, I am going to give you 5 actions that you can do. 5 is easy to remember. This will be the beginning, every month, every year, you're going to add more changes. But let's start with 5 things to do. We'll start with the little finger because it's a little problem. What I want you to do is get rid of plastic that we only use once. Single-use plastic. So let's start with plastic straws. From now on, we say, no straw, thank you. No straw, thank you. When we get rid of the straws, we get rid of the plastic bags. When we get rid of the plastic bags, we go after the big one, the plastic bottles. So that's the little finger, all right? The first one, the index finger, is everybody's talking about how do we get CO2 out of the air. People are talking about fancy technology that will suck it out. Mother Nature knows what to do. Mother Nature knows that if we plant a tree, we plant a bush, we take CO2 out of the air and we produce oxygen. So I want every school to plant a tree. I want every class to maybe plant a tree. Maybe every sports team. Maybe eventually every kid in every school will plant a tree over the next decade, okay? So that's number 1. All right. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to change your diet a little bit. And I want you to say meatless Mondays, okay? Meatless Mondays. So we gotta eat more veggies, we gotta eat less meat, we gotta eat more protein. For those big guys out there, the football players, you can still have a peanut butter jam sandwich, that's okay. But no more meat on Monday, okay? All right. Then there's the all-important thumb, the thumb that separated us from all kinds of other species. The thumb is about political action. Unfortunately, many of you cannot vote, but all of you know adults that can. Your parents, your grandparents, your neighbors, your aunts and uncles, your older brothers, older siblings. So what I want you to do is I want you to go home and motivate the adults in your life to get out and use the power of their vote. They need to vote for their city, so the municipal level. They need to vote for the county level. They need to vote for the provincial level, and they need to vote, especially this year, at the federal level. And when you go and talk to your parents and your grandparents about are they going to vote? How are they going to vote? I want you to unleash your inner 3-year-old. I want you to remember when you were 3 and you said, why? 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 You drove them crazy with your whys, but eventually you get down to the root cause. So you ask them why 5 times. 5 times you ask them that, okay? All right. So we've got no straws, no plastic. We've got trees in the ground. We've got no meat on Monday. We're going to do politics in a different way. Hey, Doc, what about that 4th finger? What are you going to do with it? Well, that 4th finger, the one that never seems to behave, is also the one we stick a ring on. And we put a ring on it because it's all about relationships. So everyone who's been here knows someone who wanted to be here but couldn't be. It could be they had a class, they had an exam, they were under the weather. You're going to talk to that person and you're going to build another relationship. Every one of you in a class, you're going to think about how are we going to change I to we. How are you going to do it in your schools? You're going to group schools. How are schools going to work together? They're going to come together. I want to see football teams after they walk off the field say, what are we going to do after this? I want to see bands that get together and say, what are we going to do about this? So form a relationship. So here we go. What happens when you take 5 things and you put them together? You got the straws, you got the trees, you got the meatless Mondays, you got the politics, you got the relationships. What do we got? We got power. So remember that. 5 things come together, makes power.